Hi, I'm Dr. Jill Weber. I'm a psychologist and author of the Relationship Formula workbook series. Today, I want to talk about 5 ways people sabotage their romantic relationships or their relationships in general and how to stop. Sometimes people come in and they tell me about a very important relationship to them and believing that their partner cares about them dearly, that the partner says they care dearly, and at the same time, their behavior doesn't sort of match up with this. So, for example, imagine Jenny. Jenny's boyfriend or husband tells her that he wants to be there for her, tells her that he cares about her, and they set up an important outing together. Only right before the date comes, maybe an hour before, he cancels. Jenny can't understand this. All he said is how much he cares about her and how much he wants to show his care. So when you see something like this going on in your relationship, or if you're the one doing it, just highlight in your mind, hey, maybe there's some sabotaging going on here. And the thing about sabotage is people usually are not conscious that it's happening. It's just kind of playing out, and it really represents something deeper that the person can't get themselves to talk about with their partner, or perhaps they themselves don't even realize is going on. So here's 5 common ways that people sabotage in their relationships. 1, the I can do it all mentality. 2, I can do it myself mentality. 3, I'm afraid to get what I want. 4, I'm afraid I will be found out. And 5, what if I have to change? So we'll just go through these briefly. I can do it all means sort of this deep down belief you may have or your partner may have that you can do it all emotionally, financially, socially, physically, that you don't need anyone else. And sometimes it can even mean you can do it all for yourself and for your partner. What this means is if you never believe you can rely on others or ask others for help, then that means you probably have a lot of trouble being vulnerable. And if you can't be vulnerable, then it's probably really hard to get close to you because people like to feel needed. They like to feel let in that way. And in addition, you may find that you tolerate more, you put up with more than is healthy for you. So as a result, you kind of turn down the volume on your own emotions and you don't even realize how burned out you are in doing so much for everyone else. So if this is your problem or your partner's problem, the remedy is to find ways to connect with your partner that isn't always doing for them or doing for your family, but also ways to let them in to be a help or a support to you. That's true closeness when there's kind of a balance between doing things and also feeling you can rely on someone. Point 2, I can't do it myself. The counter to the I can do it all mentality is the I can do nothing mentality. And this is when you feel like you can't do anything unless you have like another warm body present to guide you, to stand by you, to give you encouragement, to tell you what to do. When a partner becomes your emotional caregiver, resentment builds. No one can do this for somebody forever. And if your whole well-being rests on someone else, then you might find that you feel desperate and afraid at the thought of losing them. This may make you go to unhealthy lengths to keep that relationship. When you think that you can't do something on your own, force yourself, whether it's work, your social endeavors, managing your feelings, taking a risk. Force yourself to do it in spite of yourself. Show yourself, your partner, your future partners, that you are an effective human being all on your own. This will make it much easier to get close to you and to want to be around you. The third point, I'm afraid to get what I want. I see it really often in my psychotherapy practice that a person wants nothing more than a healthy partner. Maybe we spend a few months just talking about that desire and how lonely the person feels. And then finally the right match comes along. Only the problem is the person who wanted the match to begin with starts noticing little quirky things that they don't like about the potential person. Seinfeld-like things, the way they chew their food, or they're around too much, or they call their mom too much. But really underneath this kind of like superficial complaining is a real fear of failure. Okay, now I've met a true potential match for me, somebody that I have a lot in common with, that I think is safe. Wow, what if I can't do this? What if I can't be the person they need me to be? What if they hate my family? What if I can't please her? The list goes on. And some of this fear is inevitable when we get close to somebody and when, bonds change and deepen. But, and it can be easier to just want something that you can't have. Once you can actually have it, you sort of have to confront the fear. But talk yourself off this ledge. Instead of going internal and having these fears and maybe avoiding or backing away from your partner, share it with them. There's nothing more comforting than sharing our fears with our partner and seeing these fears met with love and understanding. Sometimes this kind of fear actually represents that you're actually getting close to them. And if you say you're afraid of failure, you're afraid that you won't be successful in this relationship, it might help them to see how much you actually care about them. And they may be able to say something supportive or encouraging that helps you through that fear. Okay, point 4, I'm afraid that I will be found out. Of course, you're going to be found out. You know that if you're in an actually healthy, stable union. What does that mean? You know, once a relationship sort of really starts to take off, you have to hold yourself accountable. Your partner has to hold themselves accountable, and you have to hold yourself accountable. That means that your friends or your romantic partners are going to see your weaknesses. And if they don't see your weaknesses or your flaws, then you may not really be in an intimate, close relationship. So you may have this fear of, oh no, if I get close, this person's going to see my flaws. So that makes you kind of pull away or act in passive aggressive ways, say you're going to do something, not do it, or not show up. Instead, just take responsibility. When you hurt or let down your partner, acknowledge it, validate their feelings, and let them know about the things that you struggle with so that they can see this head on and recognize they likely struggle with things too. It's normal. The problem really is more when people don't hold themselves accountable, when they can't say, yeah, I was late, I'm really sorry, or yeah, I let you down, that must have been very disappointing. That's when the problem starts. No one expects perfection, but if you can accept your weaknesses and openly express those to your partner, it means that you won't act out in ways that destroy relationships. Okay, and then the final point, I'll have to change. As soon as love comes, and as much as you've wanted it and coveted it, that also means that you're going to probably have to change some things about your day-to-day routine, how you interact, how you spend your time. At first, this can be fun. Oh, exciting to see your love interest in the middle of the week. But over time, the novelty fades, and you may find yourself kind of overwhelmed at the idea of eventually having to live with someone or share your finances or have to adjust your routine to accommodate that person or their feelings and needs. Change is inevitable in life. You'll never get what you want if you're not willing to change, adapt, and grow. And at the same time, how fun would life be if you never did change? Things would get pretty bland and boring. So instead of, again, acting out on this kind of fear, and blocking the relationship's growth, saying, oh, I don't want to move in together, or I don't want to see you more than once a week. Those are ways that we avoid change. Just speak openly to your potential partner about this. Talk about the ways change is challenging for you. Ask them how change might be challenging for them. See if you can kind of work together to accommodate one another and make those changes soft and slow so they don't overwhelm either of you. Okay, so how do we sabotage our relationships? 1, I can do it all. 2, I can't do it myself. 3, I'm afraid to get what I want. 4, I'm afraid I'll be found out. And 5, I'll have to change. Remember, if you can identify the fear you're having of why you're acting out in a sabotaging way, once you've done that, you're 50% there. Then you just need to talk to your partner openly about the fear and see if you can work together